Hey, what's up everybody? Today I'm cooking with Tammy. I'm going to show you how to make the ultimate chicken recipe. We're going to be making chicken fricassee. This recipe is going to be so quick and easy, you'll be done in 30 minutes. So without further ado, let's introduce these ingredients and get to cooking. First on up is our chicken thighs. The chicken thighs have the skin on and they're also bone in. For this particular recipe, it would make more sense to use skin on chicken simply because you want your chicken to remain nice and moist because we're going to be stewing it down and all that stuff. But anyway, we'll talk more about the chicken in a second. For our other ingredients, we're going to be using freshly chopped parsley, freshly chopped garlic, white wine, thyme. If you have fresh, use fresh thyme as well, salt, ground black pepper, chicken broth, all-purpose flour, heavy cream, butter, mushrooms, onions, bay leaves, Worcestershire sauce, and that's about it. So with all of that being said, let's season up our chicken and get to cooking. Hit it off with some salt. Wait a minute, you're only seasoning the top. No, I'm not. We're gonna pull the skin on up. Basically just like this, quick and easy. And of course, you know I washed the chicken, right? And I removed those excess fatty parts on the chicken as well, because we all know that chicken thighs could be a little bit fatty, especially along the back part right there. So I removed as much fat. Keep in mind, it still has the skin on, so it's not like, oh my goodness, the chicken doesn't have any fat. It's going to be dry, you know, once you cook it. Nope, the skin is going to produce enough fat. That's why it's so important to keep the skin on. Let's hit it with the salt on the inside as well. Ground black pepper. All right, looking good so far. We're gonna pull the skin back on over. Chicken needs some privacy. That's it. And we're gonna repeat the same process on the skin as well. Now, as you remember, I added salt, so now we're gonna add the ground black pepper. And of course, we're gonna flip the chicken on over and repeat the same process. We're only gonna be adding salt and ground black pepper. In some recipes, trust me, less is more. Gonna add that ground black pepper once again, followed by our salt, and that is it. Pat it on in, make sure it's nice and stuck. Flip it on over. Perfect. All right, that's it. In the meanwhile, we're gonna get our Dutch oven, or should I say cast iron skillet or regular skillet, nice and hot and ready to go. We're gonna add some butter. As you can tell, our pan is smoking hot. The butter hit the pan and all you see is smoke. That's what we need when it comes to wanting to sear our meat perfectly. Once the butter is melted, we're gonna add our chicken skin side down. And it's really important not to overcrowd the pan, because if you do that, what's going to happen is the temperature of the butter is going to drop drastically, and it's not going to sear your meat, but instead it's going to create like this boiling or steaming effect. We're going to flip it on over, and our chicken is browned perfectly. We're going to allow it to brown on the other side for about 3 to 5 minutes as well, undisturbed. The key factors when it comes to browning or searing anything is if you're going to be rinsing your protein, or even if you're not going to be rinsing it, take a paper towel, pat it dry really good. Make sure to remove any excess water that may be retained within the meat or chicken for this instance, along with whatever skillet you decide to use is nice and hot and up to temperature, and no overcrowding as I said, and you'll be good to go. We're going to remove our chicken and set it onto a plate. Our chicken is not cooked all the way yet. However, no worries. We're going to be adding this chicken to a sauce later, using the same pan with all of the drippings and brown bits. We can't let all of this delicious flavor go to waste. We're going to add our onions. We're also going to add some mushrooms to this pan as well. Onions consist of about 89% water, not to mention mushrooms. So once these bad boys heat on up and they start to saute and cook on down, all of the water is going to be released and it's going to deglaze the bottom of the pan. Not to mention the infusion of the flavors are going to lock itself into the veggies and it's going to be so delicious. We're not going to add our garlic just yet. We're going to allow everything to break down first. However, we are going to add some thyme and bay leaves. Let's add the garlic and stir it around for about 30 seconds before adding the flour. We're adding the flour to work as a thickening agent, but we want to toast the flour on up first before adding anything to the flour, because if you add the liquid right away after adding the flour, your sauce is going to be, it's going to taste kind of floury, if that makes sense. It's not going to have the taste of deliciousness, all right? So everything takes time. It's all a chemistry. Let's mix it on in there really good. Once that flour is nice and toasted, now would be the perfect time to introduce some liquid to the pan. So we're going to start off with adding some white wine. Stir it on up really good. Start the deglazing process just a bit. Once we're done, we're going to introduce our chicken broth. A question that I frequently get is, if I don't use white wine, what can I substitute with? You can substitute with more chicken stock or more water. This particular ingredient is not commonly used when making fricassee chicken. However, I find that it elevates the flavors and takes it to the top. So we're going to add some Worcestershire sauce. Get in there, mix it up really, really good. Make sure it's well combined and incorporated before adding the chicken back to the pan. And at this time, our chicken will be cooked through perfectly. Let's add our reserved juice from the chicken to the pan. We're going to cover it down for about 10 minutes and allow it to cook. After 10 minutes, we're going to remove the lid and allow it to cook for 20 minutes uncovered. During the last couple minutes, we're going to add our heavy cream. For this part, you can do two things. You can either remove the chicken from the pan once again, add the heavy cream, mix it on up, get the sauce to where it needs to be, and re-add the chicken back to the pan. However, I'm just going to maneuver my way through. I'm not going to remove the chicken. I'm just going to add the heavy cream as you saw. And I'm going to get in there and just mix it on up, incorporate it really good throughout the gravy. Once we're done, we're going to lower the flame and allow it to simmer until everything is cooked all the way through. Key tips: if the chicken is not cooked all the way through, and let's say all of your liquid has boiled out of the pan, no worries. Just add some additional liquid, whether it be water or chicken broth, and allow your chicken to simmer in the sauce until it's cooked thoroughly. We're going to chop some fresh parsley on up and add it to our fricassee chicken. Give your sauce a quick taste to see whether or not if you need to add a little bit more salt or ground black pepper. I'm going to be serving it on up with white rice. If you want to know how to make the perfect white rice, watch my video on how to make the perfect rice. I'll place the link in the bottom of the description bar. But in the meanwhile, let's serve this beautiful, delicious fricassee chicken on up. Check it on out. Oh my goodness, the chicken is cooked through perfectly. Not to mention the gravy is perfect. Perfect brown color. The consistency is on point. And all of the flavors, oh my goodness. When I tell you locked into one sauce, makes the perfect recipe, because guess what? It cooks in about 30 minutes. With all of that being said, I'm your girl Cooking with Tammy. Definitely give this fricassee chicken recipe a try. And I will catch you in another video. Talk to you later. Bye guys.